when men in relationships were given a squirt of intranasal oxytocin. Basically, the hormone was shoved up their nose. They literally kept more physical distance from attractive women they didn't know.
So this is where it starts.
9%? That's the figure researchers came up with when they looked at the role of fathers in parenting across the animal kingdom. A study by Reynolds et al. Showed that males contribute to child rearing in only about 9% of mammal species across carnivores, primates, and rodents. This means, in the vast majority of species, it's the females who are doing most of the heavy lifting. From lions to meerkats, it's often the female who takes on the primary caregiving role. So what's nature's reason for leaving it to the ladies? In many species, males don't necessarily have the same biological investment in their offspring. Unlike females who carry and nurse the young, males often don't have the same physiological mechanisms or incentives to be as involved in day-to-day care. It's not built into their biology the same way it is for mums. Instead, they are hardwired to mate with their next baby mama. For any guys watching this thinking this is your justification to slack off, it's not quite the same in humans. While the stereotype still lingers that dads don't pull their weight, but that's not entirely accurate. Glasper et al. Found that dads can and should become deeply involved in parenting, especially with hormonal changes and brain activation that help them bond with their infants. And biology does help prepare them for this. Testosterone levels drop in new dads, which might actually enhance their caregiving by making them become more sensitive and more attuned to their children's needs. So while the 9% statistic may hold true across many species, humans are an interesting exception, with evolving social and biological factors that encourage and support male involvement in parenting for the benefit of everyone.
It's not just women's hormones that change during pregnancy. And now scientists have figured out that if the baby daddy's hormones change at the same time as his pregnant partner, he's more likely to be a better dad when the baby arrives. A landmark study followed men through the transition to fatherhood and found their testosterone levels dropped significantly once they became dads. Why? Because their bodies were busy rewiring them for parenthood. Think of it like nature flipping a switch from beat mode to parent mode. Men whose testosterone drops during their partner's pregnancy show stronger emotional investment in their relationship after the baby arrives. On the flip side, higher testosterone levels later on was sadly linked to more conflict and aggression between the couple. Research showed that dads with lower levels of testosterone spend more time looking at and touching their babies, show more emotional synchrony, and even report greater sympathy when their kid cries. But there's a sweet spot, because in cases where testosterone is too low, there's a much higher risk of depression for new dads, which can get in the way of sensitive caregiving, and possibly affect mum and baby too, because research shows that depression in a family often affects more than one person. Testosterone isn't the only hormone giving men a helping hand at being a better dad and husband. Oxytocin, also known as the cuddle chemical, is nature's relationship duct tape. Turns out oxytocin plays the role of an emotional bouncer in men. In 2012, Schiller et al. Found that when men in relationships were given a squirt of intranasal oxytocin, basically the hormone was shoved up their nose, they literally kept more physical distance from attractive women they didn't know. Basically, oxytocin whispered, "Not today, Casanova," and helped them commit to their partner. So the more oxytocin a man has circulating, the more domestic tranquility. It also has the opposite effect of testosterone when it comes to new dads. Whereas high testosterone reduces caregiving in men, oxytocin dramatically increases it, driving behaviors like snuggling, playing, and protecting their kid. It's like an internal PA system reminding dads the tiny human is their actual child, not just a tiny, sticky roommate. So oxytocin in men is kind of an unsung hero. It helps dads be more nurturing, less distracted, and even more monogamous.